yesterday, RFK Jr.'s hearing is taking place. And there are so many clips, Rob, that we can go from, okay? I have a few of them here. I don't know which ones you have ready to go through. You heard his, the one with Mercury, what he said in the past, the worst mayor, McDonald's. Which clips do you have, Rob?
So I have RFK.
You want to start off with Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah, we have that one.
Let's
here.
start off with that one. Start off with that one.
She's doing her Lou Pinella impersonation.
So watch this.
So funny.
Down the line.
I'll comply with all the ethical guidelines.
That's not the question. You and I, you have said
You're asking me, Senator, you're asking me not to sue vaccine pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, you are. That's exactly what you're doing.
Health. Look, no one should be fooled here. As Secretary of HHS, Robert Kennedy will have the power to undercut vaccines and vaccine manufacturing across our country. And for all of his talk about follow the science and his promise that he won't interfere with those of us who want to vaccinate his kids, the bottom line is the same. Kennedy can kill off access to vaccines and make millions of dollars while he does it. Kids might die, but Robert Kennedy can keep cashing in.
Oh, God.
Senator, I support vaccines. I support the childhood schedule.
Wow. Rob, can you do me a favor, Rob, and pull up what you and Vinny were talking about, amount of money that she took in?
Oh.
If you can pull that up, right? The story on, so top industrial federal election data for Elizabeth Warren 2020 cycle. So the page contributions from the industries, pay committee, plus any super PACs and hybrid PACs working on his or her behalf. So this is Elizabeth Warren. Health professionals, what do you see? $2.366 million.
Correct, and there's more actually. If you give me,
I have a look.
And don't forget the legal industry that goes hand in hand with that, Pat.
Here's
Those
more.
are
Hospital
PI
nurses 1.6, miscellaneous health 600, pharmaceutical health products 625. Vinny, what do you have?
Yeah, because Anna Mattson did a really, really good piece on X yesterday where she said she's getting, for her lobbyist payments, $125,000 from pharmaceuticals, $491,000 from health professionals, $108,000 from hospitals, altogether $871,000 from the healthcare industry. And then Carla Jevinston's Super PAC gave $14.6 million to support her. She's a physician. She's Big Pharma. And then Elizabeth Warren tweeted this, and I quote, "Say goodbye to your smile and say hello to polio. That's what's on the horizon if Robert F. Kennedy becomes the Secretary of Health and Human Services." She also said that she's terrified of losing fluoride in her water. It's obvious.
She didn't say that.
She said that. And this is what...
She says she's terrified of losing fluoride in her water.
Why would you say that?
What does that mean exactly?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I don't know what that means. But
Yeah.
you know what the main premise of what she was trying to ask him to do? He said, I'll agree to all this stuff, but she's trying to say that you will not be able to sue pharmaceutical companies in the future. Like, what do you mean I'm not going to be doing that in the future? Like, I'm not going to be able to do my job?
Or make money from suing the pharmaceutical companies. It was a sort of a two-step process.
It is, but at the same time, I know what she's trying to get. Byron, when you're seeing this yesterday happening with RFK, and I'm sure you've spent time with him as well, and I'm sure you've been around Warren as well. What are your thoughts when you saw this?
I mean, the first thing is that, I mean, obviously RFKJ is not a Democrat anymore, but I just personally like watching Dem on Dem crime. I'm just going to be honest with you. I personally enjoy it, especially when you got, Massachusetts going at each other. What I really see in that clip, because I hadn't seen this until just now, the Democrats are in a bad place. They don't really know what to do. And so for RFKJ, it's not really about his views. It's the fact that he left their team. And she's more mad about that than anything else. Because his views have been this way the entire time. He has not changed. He's just now coming in for President Trump. And so that's why she's acting the way she's acting. And that's one of the biggest problems on the Hill, is that it's not so much about the policy. It's about which team brings it. And then that sets the vitriol, if you will. But she's lost it again. But Elizabeth Warren, and is she smart? Yes. But she's also diabolical. She has been wrong on so many things in this country, specifically financial policy in this country. She has been wrong. And I'm glad that her vote is not going to decide the fate of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., because I think he's going to do a good job at HHS. He's going to do a good job getting to the core health issues that we need to get to in this country.
I mean, this is what the American people voted for. Rob, which one is this here, Rob?
This is RFK finishing the confirmation hearing, his final message, and then I also have the reaction from inside the confirmation.
Before you go to this, because I want to finish with this, can you go to the clip where he's being asked about, I'm not going to do anything. Go back to the grandson, by the way, of John F. Kennedy. This is John F. K's grandson, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
Right?
Jack Schlossenberg.
Right. If you can play this clip, go for it.
Hey, everybody, I'm trying to figure out the right present to get Donald Trump for the inauguration. So I found a really rare animal and killed it, and I'm going to give it to him.
It's just not funny and it's sad. And it's...
Time out.
Go ahead.
First of all, my family, they're not all Republicans. Some of them were like, we don't know what you do when I first started. Now they're like, okay, this is Byron, this is who he is, right? But on a family level, man, you're not supposed to do that. You're just not supposed to do that. That's disrespectful of your family. And I know, I guess the sister came out against him, has been coming out against him. Mm-hmm. Man, if you're my family, you could be doing, unless you're breaking the law, I'm not going to be going out doing stuff like that to you, even if I don't agree with you because you're family. We can have the political discussion all day long, but that's just disrespectful.
Yeah, and you would think from a family that has he's had 2 people in his family murdered, right? Murdered. Yeah. His other family went up, Byron.
His father, not just anybody. His father.
His uncle. Yeah. And then they had the whole crew, the whole Kennedy crew went up there and they were supporting Biden. What gives you that motivation to go against your blood? Which I agree with you 100%, Byron. I'm even more worried. Bro, this guy, he's not going up against just something small like a city. This guy's going up against big pharma. Yeah. And for somebody, Byron, that's already lost 2 major family members, this is
well,
he's
can
going
I
to
tell you what I
dangerous
think
water.
it is? Because Byron touched on it. Remember the video we saw of Snoop a week ago when we were in D.C. In 2016, when he basically called out the black community and says, "Oh, you're going to be one of them now, right? An Uncle Tom type thing." I can't even imagine how many comments you've received like this. The point with this is, it's zero policy, it's all personality.
Yes.
They're just attacking his character and attacking the person. She called him a predator. This was his first cousin, JFK's daughter, right? That's Caroline Kennedy. It's never a policy debate. I've realized this about Trump. Every one of my friends that hate Trump, I say, tell me a policy you don't agree with. They're like, well, he's a jerk. Right. He's the this, he's the, well, tell me a policy. That's what they're doing with him. It's when you don't have an argument to stand on, they use the straw man argument and just basically say he's mean, he's a jerk, he's an asshole, he's the orange man bad, the mean tweets, whatever it is. But Bobby Kennedy Jr., the way that they've smeared him and the way that they've vilified him, and all they do is just try to attack him and his personality, it's pretty ugly to see.
Is this his cousin, Rob?
Yes, Caroline Kennedy.
Yeah. And if you want to play this clip, go for it.
But now that Bobby has been nominated by President Trump to be Secretary of Health and Human Services,
reading a script,
a position that would put him in charge of the health of the American people, I feel an obligation to speak out. Overseeing the FDA, the NIH, the CDC, and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, agencies that are charged with protecting the most vulnerable among us, is an enormous responsibility and one that Bobby is unqualified to fill. He lacks any relevant government, financial, management, or medical experience. His views on vaccines are dangerous and willfully misinformed.
Who's paying her?
These facts alone should be disqualifying.
Damn.
But he has personal qualities
first cousin
related to this job, which for me pose even greater concern. I've known Bobby my whole life. We grew up together. It's no surprise that he keeps birds of prey as pets, because Bobby himself is a predator.
What, dude?
Okay, you hear that, right? You hear that.
Wow.
And yeah, that's right. You hear that while they're saying, what they're saying about this. And then, to be fair with the previous grandson of John F. Kennedy, if we're going to show one clip, we have to show other clip. Not this, Rob. The picture, the clip. Go to the right, exactly where you went, Rob. No, Rob. The tweet by the guy.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
And just go to the video. If we show one video, I feel we have to show both videos because that wasn't This is the same
same
guy,
guy?
John Levine, that was making fun of Bobby. This is another video. Let's just allow him to present
Shine.
himself.
Let him
Go
shine.
for it.
She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride.
You can stop it right there. That's enough.
okay.
But you see, like, so we
So
have.
he's a man's man. I get it.
Yeah,
No, but the
Honestly.
point is, and then they're sitting here talking about Bobby as the job. Like, oh, he is not qualified to do this. Are we quick to forget who Biden put on his administration with the guy and the all these, I'm a lady. Do you remember all these folks that were getting
course.
jobs? Like, here's one of them.
Rachel Levine.
Rachel
Right.
Levine.
Look
What
at
was-
this guy.
Beautiful woman.
What was
Yeah.
his job? He was
That was
what? He
director of health or secretary of health and human services.
Exactly.
The same role that
This is the same exact role. So for the cousin to say Bobby's not qualified for the job, he is.
She. Pat.
No,
She.
wait a minute.
No,
he is.
it's a biological
It's a guy.
male.
Don't forget the luggage thief.
No, yeah, and,
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
I
other
forgot
guy
about
with the
that.
luggage thief. But the point being this, so the part where Byron makes a point to say they don't know what to do, right? They're kind of
don't know
trying.
what to do.
They've lost. Look at the hair.
this
Look at
baby?
the armpit hairs
Bro,
to the left,
this
right there.
This dude.
Yeah, I
is
mean,
he in
it's-
prison? Is he in prison
but-
yet?
but
And
anyway.
what was his job?
stealing shit?
They can't. What they can't do is the argument can't be he's not qualified. The argument has to be a different argument because you look like clowns making the argument that this guy's not qualified yet the other guy's qualified. And then is this the clip where he talks about my boss likes
So I have two. This is him talking about how he prays every single day for the last 20 years to be able to be in a position to do something about the health pandemic, which is a good juxtapose to him being a predator from his sister or Caroline Kennedy. And then I also have the McDonald's clip.
Go for it.
Problems in this country that we must face honestly. And the first thing I've done every morning for the past 20 years is to get on my knees and pray to God that he would put me in a position to end the chronic disease epidemic and to help America's children. That's why I'm so grateful to President Trump for the opportunity to sit before you today and seek your support and partnership in this endeavor.
God, I love that.
love him.
Do you believe him? I believe him.
Absolutely.
I believe him. I mean, behind the scenes, I've had experiences with this guy on midnight, giving my wife a call because we were concerned about something with our kids, and I don't know what part of the world he's in. This guy's a true believer where he's at. Rob, which clip is this?
This is the McDonald's clip.
Go for it.
Americans understand it and make sure that Americans are aware. But I don't want to take food away from anybody. If you like a cheeseburger, a McDonald's cheeseburger, or a Diet Coke, which my boss loves, you should be able to get them. If you want to eat Hostess Twinkies, you should be able to do that. But you should know what the impacts are on your family and on your health.
And then, Rob, if you want to play the final confirmation, the hearing and out time, I'll come to you. Play this clip here.
This
Go
is
for it.
so there. It's two separate clips, but they're both very
Go
short.
for it.
Should I be so privileged as to be confirmed, we will make sure our tax dollars support healthy foods. We will scrutinize the chemical additives in our food supply. We will remove financial conflicts of interest from our agencies. We will create an honest, unbiased, gold standard science at HHS, accountable to the president, to Congress, and to the American people. We will reverse the chronic disease epidemic and put the nation back on the road to good health. Thank you.
And here is the reaction as
This
he
is
finishes.
awesome. Did you see this?
Mr. Kennedy, I look forward to working with you.
Boom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're adjourned.
Look at this. Dude. We got people applauding. Gangster.
Yeah, you don't see that every day
You
on the
don't
Hill.
see that, right, Byron?
That does not happen every day on the Hill. I'll tell you that.
That's a standing O.
Yeah.
You mean you don't see that after a speaker leaves, a standing ovation, a round of applause? That is very uncommon, Byron.
Very uncommon.
Really? Why is
That is rare. Look, I was in a meeting with RFK Jr. maybe 4 months ago, I can't remember, and it was him and his team, and it was the entire thing was talking about MAHA and all the various things that they wanted to do. I've seen cabinet secretaries come in. He's like overqualified to run HHS because it's not just about the technical pieces of the agency, which is what the Democrats like to talk about. This is why they got wrapped around the axle with Pete Hegseth, because they're thinking about, well, how are you going to manage this department and this department and this department? It's not that. It is vision casting. Really, the president's vision through the head of these agencies to make sure that the changes voters want to see actually occur, as opposed to making sure you're micromanaging the bureaucracy, which is what the Democrats want to do. Because if you take the long view of the Democrat Party, even from Woodrow Wilson to today, what they have always wanted is a technocratic federal government that runs automatically 24/7, regardless of the will of the voters, regardless of the members of Congress, regardless of the president, quite frankly. That's the government that they've always wanted. Woodrow Wilson wanted it, and every Democrat since has wanted it. They actually achieved it under Joe Biden because he was just not mentally capable of being the chief executive. So they finally have their technocratic government that Liz Warren and all of them want, and now Donald Trump's in. And they're bringing in people like RFK, who's like, no, we're changing the vision of this agency, and every bureaucrat within it is going to be brought to heel.
Well, I mean, listen, people seem to be excited about it. And if he gets in, I will tell you, I tweeted something yesterday, and I said, Rob, if he can just go to, to me, the biggest fear isn't necessarily, it's all intertwined and it's all connected, because it starts off with one thing. He's feared by many, but none of them big pharma. Any institution, politician, lobbyist, mainstream media funded by big pharma will fight to prevent it from being confirmed. That's how simple it is. Mm-hmm. These guys are throwing money. Do you realize? So imagine a person that's like, let's just say Rachel Maddow, let's say Anderson Cooper, let's say somebody's working at CNN or MSNBC. Where is the funding coming from? So if this person makes $6 million a year, and God knows how much money they got the previous year from big pharma, that goes away. Your $6 million could become $3 million. If CNN's top line revenue dropped $400 million in the last couple of years, how much more will it drop if big pharma can no longer advertise with mainstream? Wow. I mean, the effect of it is so scary for these guys that, it scares the hell out of the establishment to see this taking place. Tom, your thoughts on this?
Your point you just made, Congressman, is my point. When you are too qualified or too informed, there is massive risk to the establishment, and they will find ways to scream that you are not qualified. So that's point one. The screams at RFK should ratify for everyone that he's the guy for this job. The second is there have been things exposed where we have been like a frog boiled in the pot on HHS for a while. Just I'll give you one example. Food dyes. Everywhere else in the world, food dyes and certain red dyes are not allowed in foods. We still use them. If you look at Fruit Loops in Canada and Fruit Loops in the United States, Fruit Loops in the United States is like high definition television color. You look at Fruit Loops everywhere else, well, we use different dyes. And they use different dyes for a reason, including things that relate to hyperactivity in kids. Gee, is that a problem? Oh, no problem. We'll just fill them full of Ritalin.
That's the color change. Look at that.
There you go. Oh, yeah, they're beautiful. Beautiful. See that? Those are food dyes that are only allowed in the United States because lobbyists ensured they could get them there because they want to be able to market brightly colored Fruit Loops. So, and this is just one of the things that RFK has brought up. So he's not out there with these weird vax position. He's out there saying, why is the rest of the world doing this with the studies that are here? And then the third thing I get to, whenever you see people in Congress screaming, find out who screamed at them before they walked in that room.
Oh, that's very true.
It's like the people that were screaming at Elizabeth Warren were on her phone. You better knock this MF off. You better get this down. And it's all the money that you pointed out, especially the $14.3 million in PAC money.
14.6, yeah.
Because when they scream and they look a little theatrical, find out who screamed at them an hour ago.
I agree. Okay. All right, so let's go to...
Did you see what RFK said about the red dye yesterday, though?
This
is probably the most poignant part of the entire episode, when they basically said, straight up, RFK, are you a conspiracy theorist? They just asked him point blank. And he's like, well, what do you mean by that? Do you mean by the fact that you guys told everybody that if they took the vaccine that we couldn't get it and we wouldn't spread? Well, that turned out not to be true. Do you mean the fact that I've been telling you for years that the red dye causes all sorts of health issues?
Is this the clip?
Yes. So it was just like the hypocrisy was ridiculous.
Play this clip.
Yeah, this guy walked into a fist.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorist?
That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me, mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions of powerful interests.
Boom.
I was told that I was a conspiracy theorist. That label was applied to me because I said that the vaccines, the COVID vaccine, didn't prevent transmission and it wouldn't prevent infection, when the government was telling people, Americans, that it would. I was saying that because I was looking at the monkey studies in May of 2020. I was called a conspiracy. Now everybody admits it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said red dye caused cancer. And now FDA has acknowledged that and banned it. I was called a conspiracy theorist because I said fluoride lowered IQ. Last week, JAMA published a meta-review of 87 studies saying that there's a direct inverse correlation between IQ loss.
All right, so I'm going to assume
I could go on for about a week.
Go on for a week.
You making me look bad. Oh, we got to get off this topic.
Yeah, let me get off.
This is the most important thing, I think, with him because, Pat, I'm so glad that you pointed out that the previous Joe Biden put in place as the Secretary of Health and Human Services was that transgender person. We're wondering what the health is going on in this country. Right. They just came out very quietly. I don't know if you guys heard, but they basically said, hey, guys, listen, yeah, that whole COVID thing, turns out it actually did come from a lab. Don't tell anybody, though. What do you mean it wasn't from a wet market with the pangolin? No, it was the lab.
So
What?
It's interesting that they came out yesterday.
Byron.
In the skiff, I read the intel report, and I'm not going to get into it because it was a classified report. It was clear reading the report that everybody knew it was a lab leak. It was clear reading the intel report. That was 2 years ago. It was clear reading the intelligence report from the various parts of the intelligence community that it was a lab leak.
Yeah, I mean, and Rob talked about this yesterday on our podcast on The Unusuals, and it's like there's still Radcliffe, who I respect the hell out of John Radcliffe. He's the head of the CIA. He was like, they're still saying, though, Byron, it's most likely to have come. Can we just definitively say we know it came from Wuhan, but the question is, who leaked it and why did they leak it? That's the question.
So to that point, how it typically when the intelligence community reports something, it's each agency within the IC, how we refer to it, they have their own findings. And so then they'll compile all the findings into a report. And that's when you get it's most likely.
Most likely,
blah, blah, blah.
okay.
Because every agency has their own interpretation of what they're seeing or what they're receiving and how they want to communicate that. And then, I don't want to get too technical because some of that stuff is, classified stuff. But basically that's where
Rob, you want to go back to is that Radcliffe talking about it? She's asking her?
Yes.
Go for it. Play the clip.
And you, right out of the gate, come out with this new intelligence that the CIA has concluded the deadly COVID-19 pandemic arose likely from the leak out of a laboratory in Wuhan, as our audience expected. Tell me the significance of the CIA now confirming this, sir.
Well, it's one of the things President Trump and I talked about. Part of what we have to do is we have to restore Americans' trust in our own institutions, like the intelligence community and law enforcement, and that includes the CIA. And, one of the things that the president stressed, the purpose of the CIA is to protect Americans, to keep us safe from foreign threats and foreign adversaries. But we also need to be truthful with Americans. And he has stressed to me and others that, these aren't mutually exclusive missions. We can do both. And so in the case of the CIA, which is the best foreign intelligence service in the world, after 5 years to not have a public assessment, to be honest with the American people about where the likely source of a pandemic that killed millions around the world, including 1 million Americans, and really impacted all 345 million Americans in some way. People lost jobs,
you can pause
they lost
it right
houses.
there. It makes you question the level of competency if it takes you 5 years to identify. When you're trying to, what is it going to take for you to find it? You are the CIA. And how weird is it that you announce it a week after the president is, sworn in? How is the timing of it? Oh, now you want to tell us? You couldn't tell it before? Again, credibility in these institutions will go up under Trump's administration. When you go to vtnews.ai, first 100 days, if you can go to first 100 days. By the way, I think we have 89 days left. Can we just do this question real quick here together? I'm going to vote for mine as well because I think I'm up to date in my ranking. Man, I am way behind with everybody. But what is today's question, Rob, the prediction today?
Will Trump make an in-person appearance at the Super Bowl?
I'll give mine. If Trump's, I'm going to say my answer is a in-person it's saying.
Yes, he's showing up.
I say yes.
Me too.
Is what I'm saying.
Especially with Chiefs and Mahomes.
And that's for 590 points. Gang, go to vtnews.ai and post your prediction. Here's what we're going to be doing, just so everybody knows, okay? We decided to run a contest behind this, and this will go for the first 100 days. So for the winner at the end, when you win, the end of a PBD podcast, you'll join us for 10, 15 minutes to tell us how you made all these predictions correctly, okay? And the competitors in the top 10 cannot be Valuetainment or Lion Holding employees, okay? If they are, and a lot of them are participating, they're not going to be able to compete in this. It's anybody that's not part of the company that'll compete for this. So if you win, you're the top Nostradamus, you'll be invited to come on the show with us and tell us how you were able to make these predictions. What do you have access to that we don't have? What did you use? Did you use ChatGPT or maybe DeepSeek? What were you using? And then the top 10 predictors with active subscriptions to vtnews.ai, you will be invited on your own. Find a way to come down here. We'll pick a date. You'll come out with the launch of our cigar lounge that we're doing in our comedy club. You'll be invited. We'll go to the back of the VIP cigar lounge. We'll have a cigar together. We'll spend 2-3 hours together. The whole crew will be there. Conversations, talking, having a good time, having a drink at the new boardroom cigar lounge that we're launching that will be ready, and you will be invited to be a part of that. So, again, go compete. There's still 89 days left on this, and there's going to be some accelerator points. So some of the questions will be 5,000 points, 1,000 points, 2,000 points. Put it in your calendar. Every day, 9 a.m., a new predictions being posted. So go to vtnews.ai, first 100 days, claim your predictions, subscribe to the membership. Either one of the subscriptions that we have that's paid, you'll be able to participate in this contest that we're running. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.